Hello friends, if you're new, welcome to my channel. How about going down and hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell so you don't miss any episodes? For my fans and subscribers, I really do appreciate you. I have recently hit 1,000 subs and it's all thanks to you. Today our topic is our path to religion, modern humans. Not much else I need to say. Let's get on with the video. I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence, but if anybody's new to my channel and wondering why I use to date in some of my videos, it is because we are learning new things all the time, and this may change in the future, and that's why I use to date. The Homo sapiens who came out of Africa about 60,000 years ago were intelligent, self-aware, and introspective. Eventually, they spread throughout the world, interbreeding with and finally replacing all other hominins. Yet, they were not quite modern. The brain changes needed to acquire this cognitive skill was well underway by the time our ancestors left Africa. Therefore, this cognitive skill continued developing regardless of where our ancestors were on the planet. About 40,000 years ago, we start seeing new behaviors in our ancestors. It should be noted that this number contains a 10% error rate. Be that as it may, evidence shows that after Homo sapiens left Africa, those who left, as well as those who stayed, underwent significant behavioral changes. About 49,000 years ago, tools and technology used by early humans were gradually abandoned. Bone tools had occasionally been used as far back as 75,000 to 100,000 years ago in South Africa, but it was only at about 49,000 years ago that we find animal bones, reindeer antlers, and ivory tusks being used widely. Because these are composites, they are more durable than wood and less prone to breaking than stone. Therefore, humans started using these materials for a wider variety of tools and weapons, including but not limited to spear points, chisels, and awls. Bone needles allowed our ancestors to start sewing clothing, for which we can find evidence circa 35,000 years ago in the Republic of Georgia. This clothing would have been especially useful during the last ice age. For the first time, garments could be tailored to the wearer. Lamps also came into use during this time. Hominins had used controlled fire for at least 500,000 years, but lamps were new. Many have been found in the caves of France and Spain, along with drawings and paintings. Most of these were simply stones that had a natural depression which could be filled with tallow, while things like moss, conifers were used for wicks. A few lamps have engravings, and one even has a handle. Weapons were also being improved and invented about 40,000 years ago. Spear throwers called atlates started being made about 30,000 years ago, guiding the spear longer and more accurately. These were very useful in hunting dangerous animals since the thrower could be at a safer distance. Another weapon that had been used sporadically in previous millennia that came into common use during this time was the bow and arrow, being widely used by about 20,000 years ago. This also allowed a safer distance between hunter and prey. We see not only the use of new weapons and tools, but the rate at which they were introduced and improved sped up. During this time of the Upper Paleolithic, new weapons were invented or improved to suit the prevailing environmental conditions. About 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens also began to use more sophisticated forms of self-decoration. Technology for producing bodily ornaments appeared suddenly in Europe at the beginning of the Upper Paleolithic. The necklaces and bracelets dating to an earlier time were made of seashells. These newer forms of adornment were made from things such as animal teeth and bones, snail shells, and ivory. The repertoire also expanded to include rings, pins, and pendants. These came in distinct regional styles that were mostly affected by resource availability. Just as today, ornamentation made from materials that were extremely unusual were highly valued. These items also indicate extensive trade networks at this time because some material has been found more than 100 miles from where they originated. Among the new behaviors added to the repertoire was adding grave goods to some intentional burials. Grave goods are put in graves so that the deceased can use them in the afterlife. At least that was their function by the time writing was invented. Neanderthals carried out intentional burials as far back as 75,000 to 35,000 years ago, but whether this was due to caring or as a practical solution to dispose of a dead body in order not to attract predators is uncertain. Starting about 28,000 years ago, some burials took place in which useful, valued objects were buried with the deceased, called grave goods. The oldest of this type of burial we have found to date took place at Sugir. Apologies if I mispronounced that. Sugir is approximately 120 miles northeast of Moscow. A man and two children were buried with valuable objects that we think were intended to help them in the afterlife. The total number of burials known from this period is small, but it is rather difficult to know where to look for them since they are outside. Thus, most of these discoveries have been accidental. Also, many of the earliest have been in Eastern Europe, where there has been less archaeological work done. At about 40,000 years ago, what we now know as the arts started to flourish, especially the visual arts. This is a milestone in human evolution, since it marks the beginning of something that is quintessentially human and sets modern humans apart from archaic humans and pre-humans. Visual arts began thousands of years before writing was invented and offers us the only record of this time. Although the cave paintings are the best known art from this time, people of this time also made engravings, figurines, and all sorts of decorated objects. The majority of this art has been found in the caves of France and Spain, the best known of which is Lascaux Cave in France. The sheer abundance of this art is impressive, since the total population of France 22,000 years ago was estimated at only at 2 to 3,000. The earliest art found to date are stenciled handprints from a cave on Sulawesi, Indonesia, and drawings in the El Castilla cave in Spain, both of which date to about 40,000 years ago. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the source that I use for this video. If you wish to get in contact with me, Twitter is the best way, followed by email. Also, if you would, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but they also trigger the YouTube algorithm. If you have any requests, you can leave those in the comments as well. Keep learning and searching for truth. Here are a few videos from my library. If you have not watched them yet, go ahead and watch them and tell me what you think. Until next time, friends, stay safe and goodbye.